Why am I muted all of a sudden? That's crazy. Good morning. Um, Hopefully everyone's doing good. We got a lot to talk about. A lot to talk about. Um, and we're going to get right into it because I see something happening that I think many may not, and it needs to be addressed for the sake of the body, if for nothing else. Um, and we'll be going over some video as well to show what I mean. Um, we're well aware of the saga that is going on between the Turning Point people and Candace Owens and many in the mainstream media and all that stuff. And you know, I myself have been keeping track of it and making my own 2 cents about it with on both sides. Um, but something showed up within the last few days, week really, that I don't think I could ignore as a sign of something. And that thing is the um, a blending. There's a blending of belief structures going on, but not so much blending to the positive, although it's masked as that. This is a blending to bring in something very nefarious for people who say they're believers to follow. And so we're gonna watch it. Um, the thing I'm talking mostly about is this infiltration of a very disgusting thing, which is the blending of the secular with um, Christ. Okay, um, there is a big push right now to get folks to convert to Catholicism. Um, and people may not believe this, but it is quite pervasive now. Um, a lot of people say that uh, there is a marked difference between Catholic and Catholicism, and I want to make you understand a bridge real quick that I don't know if anybody is really wanting to pay attention to. But the whole idea of this word Catholic, um, meaning this comprehensive liberal scope and universalism, um, has been taken to mean something very, 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 very bad. And it's the reason why you see the Catholic Church um, pushing for this idea of all inclusive behavior. I've said this before that we've been taken by these people who mix a fair amount of Bible with a lot of lie. Like a lot of lie, but they mask it over with a really good topping of concern and care and love and the word God and all that stuff. And what I started to see was a slow slipping into the concept of Christianity, a lot of the ideologies of Catholicism, where a man is placed along the same level as Jesus. And it's even infiltrated some of the entities that people consider Christian organizations. Namely, right now, the most known one is TPUSA. Um, Everybody else is worried about this nation state and this nation state, and are they paid by this particular group of people and this particular group of people? I don't consider that as bad as what is happening right before people's eyes, and they're not even seeing it, which is way worse than what money they're getting. It's, I know people might think that's not true, but it is way worse. One is financial, the other one is spiritual. And we are falling for the spiritual deception really easy. Like super, super, super easy. And I'll show you what I mean by that. This was at the AmFest event. The guy sitting there is Mr. Posobiec, and that's of course Megyn Kelly. That's Jack Posobiec. He's a influencer reporter type guy. If you look at his left hand on his knee, you will notice something. Now, how many of you know what that is? Anybody care to send a wager across the bow what that is? Anybody? Anybody take a shot in the dark what that might be? Sitting in his hand on his lap. What is that little thingy there? Now remember, this is all a talk about God and Christianity and stuff. Precisely. It's a rosary. That is a rosary. All right? Now, please listen carefully to what he's about to say. And it'll be reiterated a couple of times throughout the video. Okay? I'm going to be time jumping to get to those points. This one is at 1:40.
Up an event I was at just a few days before Charlie's murder, and I remember thinking to myself, we were having lunch, and everything was totally normal. Everything was just normal life, and then suddenly God snaps his fingers and shows you that you are not in control.
Now make sure you log what he says, because it will come in very much to importance a little bit later. Please remember that he is indeed attributing lack of control of our world, but full control of God, okay? And this is the foundation being laid to persuade everybody that this is about true godly behavior. Okay? Just remember that. Just remember that. God is indeed in charge. Yes, agree, 100%. And he can indeed, whenever he wants to, something happens. Please remember, that is true, because God is in charge. Okay. But in order to convince people of something, you have to mix in something that they cannot deny, to then link it to something that they normally could deny, but because it's tethered to something that can't be denied, they won't deny it. All right, he's going to continue.
That he is in control, that you are a spectator, you are a reactor, you are someone who is living out God's will. And I think that's one of the biggest things for me that I've been, and look, it's not easy doing all this, but one of the things that I've been working hard to remember, that God's will is absolutely paramount in all of this.
Now remember, sounds great. Amazing. Truth. Fact. God's will is indeed paramount. Paramount. Just remember, they said that. And this is at the onset. And I think this is also by design. Now we're going to jump to 4 minutes ahead. Right at the 4-minute marker, we're going to jump to right here.
Justly. And
now listen to this statement.
The sovereign is given the sword.
I want you to hear what he quotes.
Something a lot of people wrestle with. And the Bible tells us that the sovereign is given the sword to wield justly.
Now, I decided in all my wisdom, because somebody told me don't call myself a dummy, to go look and see where that might be found. I couldn't find diddly squat about that that verse. I looked. Nowhere did I ever find a verse where it says the sovereign shall wield a sword justly. I couldn't find it. Maybe y'all can find it in a different setup, a different statement. He might be reading it from the King James or something. I couldn't find it. Where does it say? If anybody out there, please help me out. Help a brother out. Help me out. Because again, all I'm saying is I didn't find no verse that said that. Y'all might find one. It might be in the Catholic Bible. I don't know. But even in my recollection of things, I can't remember reading something like that. But he said the Bible said it. But remember, he also said something very true in the beginning. He said something very true in the beginning to lock in the crowd. Once the crowd was locked in that room, anything he says after that point will be taken as good, believable, wonderful, good stuff, right? Please remember, this is how it is done. It is exactly how it's done. Okay? Now we're going to jump to 453. And you'll hear something even more insane.
That's a debt that needs to be paid.
That's right, Jack. And that's to say nothing of the debt that is owed to all of us, to everyone who is sitting here, who knew and loved Charlie in whatever way it worked for you. I mean, if Charlie could see this, he would be so proud. He would be so happy, be so lifted up by all of you. But we've all been robbed. We've all been cheated. And so, yes, we will both be watching that trial minute by minute. And I believe justice will be done.
Now, remember, I told you to log what he said at the beginning. God's will is above all things, right? We are at his will. He said that. She just said we were robbed. How? If it's God's will, is God robbing you? Is God robbing you? I don't think so. But no correction is made. Why? Because there has to be that implementation in our heads of a linkage between the human way and God's way. It's going to come back again. The human desire has to be linked to God's desire in order to make you think that you are actually the one in charge. You may not see it happening yet, but wait, you'll see what I mean. You'll see what I mean in a second.
I think it will. And you know, I do believe that Charlie is watching us right now.
See? Now, let me ask the most obvious question. Is that true and biblical? It's an awesome human thought, wonderful human wish. Is it true? Is it? It's not. It's not. Okay.
And I'm sure up in heaven, that I'm not sure quite what the radio schedule is, but I think Charlie's probably on from 9 to noon, and then from noon to 3 is Rush.
Now, y'all might think, oh, it's just a joke. Don't worry about it. Just a joke. It's hilarious. We know that don't happen, but let me ask the most obvious question here. Is that something that you think would be okay as a joke? Now, we've made it okay. Humankind, we've made it quite funny. But Radio 6 schedule, and he's on there from a certain time to a certain time, and then he hands the mic off to Rush. And if what they really thought about God in heaven really mattered to them, it'd be the very last thing that they would try to make light of. It'd be the very last thing they'd want to make light of. But they have no problem doing so. None at all. Now we're going to get to the really crazy part. Okay, we're going to go to 1434. Let's go to 32.
We're turning the tables on Megyn Kelly for once. So, Megyn, you mentioned something on your show recently that I know a lot of people have been chatting about. There's been a lot of chatter about this. The sit down, the peace summit heard around the world between Candace Owens and Erica Kirk. And you mentioned that you played a role in brokering this. Tell us the story, if you would.
Now, please remember, again, this whole segment started off with this idea of a God-centric containment, right? A God-centric containment. The whole idea is about faith following God. The problem you're going to encounter is that he is quickly going to be replaced with something else. You'll see what I mean. At the beginning, Will Sovereign, come back to a different point of view with Charlie being a how did he put it? Radio station guy, all right? He's looking down. And now we're going to get to a even crazier crux. Let's go.
Well, Erica has asked me to tell the story and is fine with me telling the story, so I will. Otherwise, I would not have gotten into the details. But so from the beginning of Candace's programming on this, I've been in touch with Turning Point, and I know you have too. We've all talked about it behind the scenes, but I've had long conversations with everybody at the highest levels on how to handle this, and I think everybody was confused about what the next right move was because it was so extraordinary. And I'm not going to get into the substance of those discussions, but suffice it to say that I think everyone felt the best course initially was to try to just rise above it and not respond in a tit-for-tat manner. And as it went on, it started to get more and more problematic for Turning Point, for Erica, and so on. And Erica called me and said, I want to do a sit down with Candace and I want you to moderate it. And I said, what? Say what? And I said, she said a word from you would silence her on this forever. Like it doesn't have to be an oral word. It could be like a text or an email. Maybe that's the best way to see if we can put this to bed. But Erica really felt that they should sit down together face to face. And I've gotten to know Candace a little better over the past months. And I actually thought she might do it. Like I wasn't sure, but I don't know. An invitation from Erica would be hard to resist. And she said, would you please come and facilitate it, really? Just like they were going to have the discussion. But Erica's thought, and Candace originally wanted to do this too, was for them to live stream this out that same Monday that the Turning Point guys were going to live stream their event. And of course, I'm like, oh, my mother of God.
Like I say all the time, they will slip some stuff in there that you normally wouldn't think is bad. It's not that big of a deal until you really sit down and hear, listen, analyze what they say. Now, please remember this whole concept. First of all, I do not consider Megyn Kelly to be any sort of a pariah of biblical knowledge or even godly knowledge. I'm not looking to her for that at all. However, that is the basis on which TPUSA kind of hinges their platform, is a God-built foundation because of what they say Charlie stood for. Okay? Charlie, they say, was a man of God, and he stood on this particular platform with God as his backing. Now, you would think, with that being the case, they wouldn't be so flippant with their application of who God is and what he can and cannot do. But to say Holy Mother of God in that context is is crazy work. That is some next level can't read the room stupidity. But is it? Is it though? Is it really accidental, slip of tongue, Freudian slip? I don't think so. Why? You will hear in a second why I think it for this situation, and then I'll play for you another incident that will even more codify my thought process.
What am I getting myself into? But I actually felt like it was divine right order, and I have to tell you, Jack.
There it is. There's one, a divine right order. RITE. Divine right order. Okay? So let's take a gander at divine right. Okay? There is such a thing as divine right. Okay? And if many don't want to accept it, that's okay. Divine right, according to the Catholic Church, encompasses religious practices that reveal connections between civil and theological beliefs, often evaluated alongside scenic plays. The text also explores whether certain incorporated practices within these rites could be considered offenses to the divine. In early Christianity, divine right refers to essential religious ceremonies that must be celebrated. Neglecting these rituals is seen as a reflection of sorrowful events. Overall, divine right is pivotal in understanding the theological and cultural traditions. Now, please remember that as her statement before she's about to say what she's saying. Please remember that. Okay? Please remember that. Please, if you don't do anything else, remember that description I just read. Okay? All right. I'm going to back it up just a minute so you can hear it in full.
I felt like it was divine right order. And I have to tell you, Jack, I've prayed so many times to Charlie and to God.
She prayed so many times to Charlie and to God. Now, remember what I said, refers to religious ceremonies, and you're giving a representation of sad events. Now, whether or not people want to believe, may think they don't, or because they have this reluctance to accept what is said, regardless of that, words do have weight. And they do really mean something when you say them. You might lie about what they mean, but you do mean something when you say them. From the Dear Mother of God statement to praying to Charlie and divine right, we are indeed looking at one crazy thing that they're starting to do. And that is blend the mortal with the immortal. If they can start having people look at certain individuals that you and I know as having a deeper connection to God than you and I, they can eventually replace God. And it won't stop with just one individual. It will continue to more. It'll be eventually envelop people that are living. Take, for instance, this individual, Candace, right? Her obsession, unhealthy obsession with the death of Charlie. Whether that comes from an actual remorseful loss or sadness, don't know, don't care, because the eventual outcome is a pushing to the same thing that Mr. Posobiec has on his thigh, the faith of Catholicism. And many people listen to her as though she is a herald of God, like nothing she can say is wrong. She is untouchable. Untouchable. I'm just going to tell you that this kind of mindset being placed on regular humans is indeed a usurpation of God's throne. But she prays to Charlie and to God, God second, of course, for an answer.
To give me the right guidance on how to handle this whole thing, the fracture within the conservative movement, my friends turning on me because I won't call out my other friends like Tucker, this dust up between Candace and Erica, and Turning Point and Erica, Turning Point and Candace, which is fraught, and yet I understand. I know people are very angry at Candace right now, and I understand it, but I have to say, and Ben, yet another thing he mocked me for was saying she was a young mother, but Candace had literally just had a baby. And I'm sorry, maybe Ben doesn't understand, but that is a vulnerable position for a woman. And then her friend got shot in the neck.
And here we have the pivot. So now you have people from both sides that you want to link together. But they're all linked around the individual, not God. Please remember, in the onset, God's will, God this, God that. And now we've pivoted to pray to Charlie and look at Candace in this particular light. Both untouchable at this point. Don't talk about Charlie. Don't talk about Candace. Now, if you look at the Catholic faith, you'll understand something very important. They have a thing called martyrs. All right? They have a thing called martyrs. And they have a thing called saints. And as much as they don't want to say that they pray to them, they do. And what do they do to pass it off as okay? They'll tell you, well, they're not dead. They're up there alive with Christ. Don't worry about it. They're not dead. That's why we can pray to them. So can somebody show me, if you say that they follow the Bible, where is that in there? Nowhere. So how do they get people to believe that? It's really easy, actually. If you can make people's loved ones of more import than life itself, if you can make them long, I remember we just talked about this last week about visiting the dead, right? If you can make them long to be back with you again, you can hand them the idea that they're not really dead at all and that you can still talk to them. And not only can you talk to them, but they have influence over the things you do. They're looking out for you. They're orchestrating things. They're working on behalf of you with God. They're praying on behalf of you up there. Don't worry about it. This is how you get people to listen. Now, what happens when you already convinced the half that believes in God to follow that mindset, but you need the rest to come on board? You need the rest to come on board. So you get somebody that is of the worst to say that they're no longer the worst of the worst. And then you tell them something really, really, really off the wall stupid. And I'll show you what I mean. I'll show you what I mean. Now, many of you remember this moment, right? You remember this moment. But there is one portion of it that I want us to really listen to carefully. And it's not the first 30 seconds.
Dear young men, you have amazing role models like our handsome, dashing president. And you have amazing role models like the assassin J.D. Vance, our vice president. And when I say that, trust me, there's nothing new under the sun that I have not heard, so you're fine.
There's nothing new under the sun that I haven't heard. You're fine. Later on, she goes on to tell people that it doesn't matter what Nikki has said, that God knows her heart. And she knows Nikki's heart. Okay? That's the logic. God knows and Nikki knows. Hang on, let me find that for you. I want to find it for you because I don't want you to take my word for it. I want to make sure I find it here. Media. Because it's vital. It's vital you hear it for yourself. Is this the 2-minute one here? I want the full thing if I can find it. If I can find the full video, I want you to hear near the end what she says. There it is. Okay, I found it. Cool, cool, cool. I knew I downloaded it. Maybe I can find it here. There is one portion I want to make sure I grab. Here we go. All right, cool. Found it. All right. Now I want you to listen carefully. Now, before I play it, what is the criteria? What is the criteria for us to know whether or not somebody is following God? Is it what they say, or is it the fruit by which they produce? Okay? That's the important question here. Is it by the statements they make to persuade you, or is it the fruit? Let me see if I can find it. There we go. Here we go. Listen up.
Do not be surprised when the world acts like the world. And I held on to that so much because even being in this role now, they're trying to figure me out. Okay, enjoy. I am who I am. There's nothing to hide. And I know you feel the same way when people misunderstand you and you're like, okay, well, I have an audience of one. Well, now I have an audience of two, but I have an audience in heaven. And I know the Lord knows me, Lord knows you, and he put everything in you to be able to make a difference in this world.
Now you heard that? I hope you heard it. Y'all heard it. He put everything in you to make a difference in the world. Okay. Now listen to me carefully. We are not talking the conspiracy here. We're not talking about who killed Charlie Kirk. This message is not about that. This message is about something far more consequential. And for the record, no, I don't think that his wife had anything to do with his death. But this is far more consequential than anything else I think we can ever talk about, because this is what's right now polarizing people. Okay? This is polarizing people. And the statement is that everything in you to make a difference, this is God's doing. So I want you to understand what Nikki's influence has been. Okay? I want you to understand carefully what Nikki has been as an influential factor on earth. Okay? What has been her MO? Her MO has not been influencing people for the good, has it? So I'm trying to figure out how that statement makes any sense, considering that the majority of her statements have always been sexual in nature. How is that helpful? But continue.
Likewise to all of you students and everyone else here. And to go into that further, I know that this, and I'll end on this, I know that a lot of you guys have been hearing about, you know, we are doing this for Charlie, and we're doing this for his legacy, but we're also doing it because each and every one of you guys have a legacy. And I want you guys, when you leave this conference, to take something with you. And when it gets tough out there, I want you to hold with you a word. It could be anything. For me, it's Charlie. But for you guys, it could be, I don't know, refocus, family, children, future, something. Hold that word in your heart.
Did you catch it? Did you catch it? What was the one word that she's going to keep in her heart? Anybody, please tell me if you caught it. What was it? If you didn't hear it, let me know. If you didn't hear it, I'll back it up so you can hear it. I just need to know if you heard it. Thank you. I'll play it again.
For me, it's Charlie. But for you guys, it could be you. And when it gets tough out there, I want you to hold with you a word. It could be anything. For me, it's Charlie. But for you guys, it could be, I don't know, refocus, family, children, future, something. Hold that word in your heart so that when you go back out into the world and you have someone screaming in your face, someone spitting in your face, someone flipping your table on campus, someone making fun of you because you're a conservative, someone making fun of you because you love the Lord, say that word to yourself.
So you understand my point from earlier. You have to get people engaged in the concept that God is behind it. Okay? Like Jack said, God's will is sovereign. Okay. You lure them in, that's the glue. You know, like rat traps, the sticky rat traps, you know those, right? You know those rat traps that you put down. They don't have a scent. It's not like they're poisonous or anything. It's just a trap. It's just sticky, just a green pad, inviting, a beautiful green. I don't know if you've seen them, but they're a beautiful green. I'd have a counter like that. I'd have a car in that green. I like it. Love that green. But the trap itself doesn't even look weird. Like it's not even something that you'd think dangerous. In fact, it might be very inviting, but it's a trap. Some of them are just straight up black and you put them in a dark place and they can't see it and they still step in it. But that statement at the beginning was that trap. That sticky held them right there. Now they genuinely believe anything else that happens is based on that trap. They're stuck there. This is where we are. We know this is about God now for sure because I can't move from it. We went from God's sovereign law to sovereign wielding shields and swords. And then we moved to Charlie being in heaven and orchestrating stuff, to Megan praying to Charlie, to having Charlie and Candace be untouchable, and now invoke their name as your carrying instrument. If you want a word, make sure it's not God, it's something else, something personal to you, your spouse, your children, your finances, your job. Not God, though.
Out loud or internally, to refocus your brain and your heart and your soul, to know that you're about something so much bigger and greater. The legacy with Turning Point USA, yes, but also for yourself. And so, Nikki, I want to ask you in closing, what is something that you want to leave as a legacy in this world for your family, for your baby, for just everything?
Well, that it's okay to change your mind. Yeah, it's
okay to change your mind. Okay, just listen.
Okay to change your mind. You don't have to, you know, sometimes there's a lot of things projected onto you when you change your own mind. You know, they project fear, shame onto people who don't think and do as they think and do. But I've traveled the world. I've performed for huge crowds all around the world. And no matter how many songs I do on that stage, it didn't mean as much as this. Because this is a direct link for younger people. This is a direct link between young people and God.
Now remember, she never said she regrets any of the things in concert she did. She's bragging about the fact that she did it. It didn't mean as much because she didn't have as much influence over the crowd she lost. There is no regret. But God being played again, you got to bring them back. Some of them might have gotten a foot off the trap. You got to put that little scrappy foot back on that trap. You ain't going nowhere. You got to stay on this trap. Did she ever say, I regret any of the music I did? No. It's still out there for everybody to listen to. Okay.
And there's been a lack of that. There's been a lack of that in our media, in our everyday conversations. People have been, you know, interestingly enough, people have been, even Christians have been being persecuted right here in our country in different ways. So when we talk about Nigeria and other countries, know that prior administrations saw nothing wrong with that.
You see the pivot? Do you see the pivot? Don't talk about me anymore because I'm really not sorry about the music I make. In fact, I'll be making more music just like that later on. So I don't want to focus too much on my change. Look over here. Look at Christians being persecuted, and this is how you get people. She really cares. Don't you understand? You can't talk about Nikki no more. She's not bad. She cares about the Christians being persecuted.
And that's what was wrong with them. I truly feel that there are people out there who felt good about chastising Christians.
And mind you, she was one, and still is. Still is.
Right here in our country. And it's kind of really, really sick. We can't let people like that be in power, you guys.
Again, the pivot. The pivot is amazing. Amazing. That might be she's telling the truth about Christians being persecuted. Of course, they're being persecuted. Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. Can you ask me a question though, Nadia? Didn't her songs do that exact same thing? Now remember, what you want to leave behind for your kids never answers that question, except for change your mind. You can change your mind. Then she goes in to talk to you about all the stuff that she used to do on stage and then meet people and reach people, but she can't say that it was as impactful as this one because her music wouldn't reach these people. Her music would never reach these people. But now she can, with a nice, beautiful change of tongue. Ain't that kind of odd? I find that kind of odd. That the devil never lie, huh? I'm confused by that statement. Can you clarify that for me? The devil never lie. Oh, well, I'd like to know what you mean. I mean, I might be misreading something. There might be a word left out. If you can please clarify the statement, because I don't want to misconstrue what you're saying. Last thing I'd want to do is to get you wrong. Definitely don't want that. I'm going to leave that up there so that you can clarify the statement, because I don't want to get you wrong. But as for Nikki, why can't you take a W when Nikki's saying the right thing? Oh my gosh. Anyway, you know what? I think I've proven my point about how successful the trap is. They cannot lie. They can turn it. They can turn what? What's it? The devil cannot lie. They can only turn it. Turn what? I'm confused. Because if I'm going to go by the good book, then I have to assume that you're possibly not going by that book and going by something else. So I'm just asking for clarification. What do you mean turn it? If you can clarify that. Again, I want to make sure I get it fully out. I don't want to be the one that doesn't get you. I want to make sure I understand it fully. Okay? I want to make sure I get it fully. I would, this is just a suggestion. I'd go all the way back to the beginning so you can catch up, because I think it's pivotal, because to go back over all of it will be okay. So I would suggest you go, you don't have to. I'm just a suggest, go all the way back to the beginning and watch from the start. Okay? Let me see if I can find any follow-up statements that you made. I'm looking. They cannot lie. They can only turn it. Okay. Like Adam and Eve deceiving. What would be deceiving be? Again, I'm only going by what was said about the devil. And what the devil is described as is exactly what we said he was. You might want to say it's not lying, but I'm sorry to advise you on something, but it is. I know that you are Abraham's descendants, but you seek to kill me because my word has no place in you. Mind you, this is Jesus talking, not some random other guy. I speak what I have seen with my father, and you do not, and you do what you have seen with your father. They answered and said to him, Abraham is our father. Jesus said to them, if you were Abraham's children, you would do the works of Abraham. But now you seek to kill me, a man who has told you the truth, which I heard from God. Abraham did not do this. You do the deeds of your father. Then they said to him, we are not born of fornication. We have one father, God. Jesus said to them, if God were your father, you would love me, for I proceeded forth and came from God. Nor have I come of myself, but he sent me. Why do you not understand my speech? Because you are not able to listen to my word. You are of your father, the devil, and the desires of your father you want to do. He was a murderer from the beginning, and he does not stand in truth because there is no truth in him. When he speaks a lie, he speaks from his own resources, for he is a liar and the father of it. So don't tell me that the devil can't lie. That's absolute tripe. That's absolute tripe. The devil can indeed lie. It says it right there. Not my word. It says it right there. I don't know how you can say he doesn't lie, unless you're saying that now Jesus is a liar. If the devil is not a liar, then Jesus is. If the devil is not a liar, then Jesus is a liar. And there's no point in following Jesus because he lies. He lied about the devil being a liar and the father of lies. And there's one key trait to a good liar. And you don't want to know how I know what's a good trait to a liar? What's the key trait to a liar? Having been one. Having been a liar. I know the traits of them. I can sense it from a mile off because I had been one. And the best trait a liar has is to mix. You see, I can't fully lie to you because it's too obvious. In order to convince somebody of your truthfulness when you're lying, is to tell some truth with the lie. But the truth that you tell has to be very, very provable and very, very believable. You can't just say a weak truth. You have to say something profoundly truthful, undeniably truthful. Otherwise, your lie doesn't really have that much weight. Your lie is kind of just there. But if you tell a lie with a profound truth under it, oh man, what? Say, for instance, God loves you. Profound truth. Right? Profound truth. God loves you. And he will give you anything you want. You just have to beg for it, and you give money and he will give it to you. Profound lie. But the profound truth feels so much better. You really believe that you have to give somebody money to get God to love you more. It works every time. Profound truth. Christians are being persecuted all over the place. Hidden is what lie? She helps. She helps. Do you want proof that she helps? Let me help you out here. Before January 23rd, okay? Not January, sorry, December 23rd. I'm going to show you something. Anybody remember when AmFest was? Anybody know when AmFest was? Can you give me an idea of when AmFest was? It was fairly recent, right? But it was before Christmas, right? Before Christmas. Let me get the exact date. I don't want to mess this up. AmFest, December 12th. Okay, so 10 days. Okay, so December 18th. Okay, December 18th was AmFest through the 21st. Okay, this is Nicki Minaj on the 22nd. Remember, I love me some God. I can't get me enough of God. Christ is King, right? Christ is King. Now remember, persecuting Christians, right, is bad. It is bad to try and curtail Christians, mess with them, ridicule them. And this is her influence on Christians. Remember, she just went to this AmFest thing. And she didn't have as much impact until she did this. And now, this is her. That's her. I just want you to understand who we're dealing with here. Okay? Here's another one. The 21st. Now, please explain to me again. Christ is king. Christ is king, though. If it's not apparent to you yet, I hope it becomes apparent to you. That in all of this, there is one thing that's being targeted that nobody really is talking about. And the thing being targeted is your soul. Your heart is being targeted in this. There are many that are going to try to persuade you to leave what you know. There's going to be people that's going to try and reach to people who are unaware to make them follow something that is not of God, but sounds good, feels good. Because let's be honest, it really feels amazing to believe that Nikki's life is changed. And we do want to believe and want that for Nikki, of course. But I am going based on what the reality is. If there is no fruit being produced, what changed? The words? That's it? Your words changed? If that is all that changed, then I fear that there is not a whole lot of change that took place. There isn't a whole lot of change that took place. Now, here is the finally found what I was looking for to end all of this conversation. I want you to hear it. I want you to hear it, please. Let me reload this page. Because I do want you to hear it for yourself. I don't want y'all to take my word for nothing. That's the last thing I want. I don't want nobody taking no word from me. Not at all. Not at all. Okay? I don't want that at all. I want you to say that you heard it. I want you to say you heard it. Let me find it here. All right. This is going to be in the other guy's words, the one that is no longer here. All right. And then you'll hear something on the bottom side. Okay.
Who do you get your art from? It's what values are they putting forward?
Who cares? I love this woman. She's an amazing woman. She has a soul and a heart for the Lord. And words are words, but I know her heart and it doesn't even matter. And you say what you want to say because I know your heart.
Nah.
Words aren't just words, though. See the problem? But again, this goes back to our conversations for the last 2 years. There has been a fundamental flip in Christianity, the way the world sees it. Okay? The way the world sees Christianity is this. Love, 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 love. Good person, love, love, good person, love, love. Accept everything, love, love. But that's not Christianity. Christianity is separation, 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 Come out of, come out of, come out of. Leave, leave, leave. No association, no association, no association. You know what I'm saying? I am seeing something that has been slowly trickling into. Slowly taking it in, just dripping, dripping, dripping. And it's finally popping up. Huh? This Operation Mockingbird is in full effect. You have covered this Candace situation nonstop. The divisiveness is their goal, and boy, it has worked. Listen, you shaggy-looking meth head, coup de grace wannabe. You come in here stating something that's blatantly stupid, but don't want to be judged for it. Well, guess what? I will judge you for your stupidity. You can go sit in your corner with your hemp rope, tie it up, smoke your weed, and be happy. Go do that. Go hang out with all your crackhead, cokehead, weedhead buddies and chill. We don't need you here. You're the one that decided to come in the room. Maddie, go with your matted hair and go somewhere else. You came in here disrespectful and want respect? Nah, fam, you picked the wrong room. You picked the wrong room. I've been taking the black pill of knowing this whole thing has been a psyop and it's working. Oh, no, you don't have an opinion. You came in here talking crap and expected nobody to clap back. Wrong room. You called me a psyop. You say I'm trying to make people take my word for it. When have I said that? So let me, okay, good. You never asked for respect neither. So what you expecting it for? You didn't ask for respect. So why are you expecting me to respect you? You see how this works? When did you ask for respect? Tell me when you asked for it. Why do I need to respect you if you didn't ask for it? If that's your measure of how someone should give respect. If I didn't ask for it and you didn't either, why should I respect you? You don't think things through before you speak, do you? You seem to be the kind of guy that just sits down in the corner room, whatever flies into your head because you're always high, it just comes out your mouth. Good. Then if you don't expect respect, then I can say what I want about you, right? You should not at all be surprised of me disrespecting you, right? If it's all psyop. You said the psyop is working. You said I told people to just take my word for it. I've never said that. Oh, trust me, I have no intention of respecting you, Matthew. Trust, that's not going to happen. There is no level of respect I have for you. Just none. I don't have respect for you. I don't. You came in sideways and expected to be stood straight up. I don't do that for people. Again, wrong room. Wrong room. Y'all might have a different opinion about something. Psyop, say what you want. Except you do because you keep replying. So you're saying something completely contrary to what you say you believe. Par for the course, but you're not high. Okay. Whatever. Whatever, buddy. And obviously you did not listen to this entire live. You're a Johnny-come-lately, and you're joining the tail end expecting to believe whatever you want to believe that you think I'm saying. That's all. That's exactly what it is. Oh, it's you again? Control your vessel is back, everybody. Control your vessel is back. Control your vessel is the vessel can't control their vessel. This is the one that came into turn it to Savage Patriots the other day. Y'all remember him? We're still looking into him to find out who he is, though, by the way. Well, leave. If you're trying to avoid it, you're doing a very poor job of avoiding it. You're still here. If I was trying to avoid it, you're like the guy that's saying, I'm trying to avoid traffic while driving the opposite way on a one-way street. That's how stupid you sound. I'm trying to avoid it. Then leave. There's a button. All right. It's a back button. You can just, or there's a little X if you're on your phone that you can just close the app and actually close it and never go back to the channel. That's how you avoid it. Not by constantly engaging and writing comments. That's not leaving or trying to avoid anything. Maybe the brain cells that you used to have aren't triggering. So let me help you trigger a few. To leave and avoid a channel would be to not interact with it. You interacting with it is not an attempt to leave or avoid. Dummy. Hey, look at me, man. Boy, I struck a nerve, man. And I know I haven't heard the whole live, man. I have tried to avoid it, man. All right, man. Listen, man. I'm just trying to say, man, the whole thing's a psyop, brother. It's a psyop, man. Listen, man. I've been blackpilled for forever, dude. You just don't understand me, man. I was trying to just tell you, man, but you're just being disrespectful, brother. Man. Listen, brother. Blackpill yourself, man. I'm telling you, it's all psyop, brother. I'm just saying, man. All right, brother, man. Go find Scooby and go solve some mysteries, bro. Go find Scooby, go solve some mysteries. I'm sure you have your right to speech, and so do I. So only you can have a right to speech? Of course I believe it. What retard doesn't believe the things they say? Only idiots like you would say, I say stuff I don't believe. That's retarded. You have to be an absolute retard to say something you don't believe. Are you that stupid, dude? You just say stuff you don't believe? Yeah, I say stuff I believe. That's natural to people who have a thinking brain. This moron, this monkey here says, I just say stuff I don't believe. I do it all the time. I can believe about you. I can definitely believe that about you. It's called free speech. Look at the First Amendment. You might want to try it. The same reason you can call everything a psyop. I can call people stupid and every name in the book. I can. I'm allowed to. Okay? Is that answer your question for you, Matthew? Matthew? I'm going to call you Matthew from now on, not Matthew. Your new name shall be Matthew, not Matthew. Anytime I see you pop up on my feed, I'm going to call you Matthew. I think he is. I think they are. I think he is. Matthew and Mr. I speak the stuff I don't believe. I just say stuff I don't believe all the time because, that's what's saying. I say it because it's saying. The remedial nature of people is insane these days, bro. It's insane. It's always good for goose and not for gander. Always good for goose and not for gander. I didn't care if you called me a crackhead clout chaser. You can call me what you want. You said psyop, and I have the right to retaliate. That's all. Two-way street, buddy. Good for you. But you are a retarded meth head. I can say that. You are a retarded meth head. That's what I'm going to call you, because you speak like a retarded meth head. If you spoke differently, I wouldn't call you a retarded meth head. You see how this works? That's my opinion. Good. You don't need to behave that way. I can. I'm not telling you how to behave. I'm just calling you what I feel like calling you. First Amendment. I thought you were black-pilled. I thought you were black-pilled. Apparently not black-pilled enough. Let me help you get more black-pilled. Let me help you get more black-pilled. I'm so black-pilled, I used to be white. You'd be amazed. I was like pale moonlight white. And then one day I got black-pilled, and you know what happened? I'm black. If you do enough black pills, you might get black. Watch out. You might. No, I don't do it to feel bigger. Ask anyone in the crowd if I do name calling to feel bigger. I get you're new here. You're new. And until you've been seasoned in the crowd that you're just decided to jump in, I wouldn't go so far as to say it makes me feel bigger to call people names. No. Some people are just, look, if you're late to the party, don't act like you knew what was going on, man. You just got to the party. You just got to the party. If I were you, here's what I would do. Ask around and find out if the host is who you think the host is. I don't care. You act like that's a flex. I didn't ask you to watch Too Strong. I didn't ask you to watch both sides. I didn't tell you to change your mind. And if you've been watching since Too Strong, you should know that I've always called people names. And I've never done it to feel bigger. Ever. It's just who I am. I don't feel smaller or bigger. I see what I see and I say it. Matthew, I don't care. That's not a flex. What, you expecting me to pat you on your back and say thank you? No. I'm not going to pat you on your back and say thank you. I don't do that. I don't do that. You watch what you watch. I'm supposed to commend you for wiping your behind too after you poop. I'm supposed to, oh my, what a good boy. You know how to wipe. Make sure you shake 4 times. Y'all want commendation for the stupidest things. Yes, I do. Especially when they look like it. Yeah. Again, if you've been following me since Too Strong, you obviously have not been following since Too Strong. You have not. But you are proving one very valuable point. And I love that you showed up. Here's why I love that you showed up. I love that you showed up because you are the kind of person that pops in on the tail end of things and assumes a whole bunch of stuff, never actually listening, but think you know. It proves that you don't know. It proves it. You admit you haven't watched the whole thing, but you come in stating something completely contrary to the whole life. I find that odd. Remember I said some time ago that people come and they see a title and they think from the title they can make an assumption about the whole show? Matthew is one of those people. Matthew has no clue what the topic is, what we're actually talking about. Nothing. Matthew came in made a statement having no, absolutely zero, and I mean -5 information of what I was talking about. Matthew, we're not dealing with what you think we're dealing with, which is the point, Matthew. If you would use the 2 brain cells you might still have left, you'd understand that. You're not watching everybody else's coverage of it. You're watching mine. You're watching mine. And if you're going to come in to talk about everybody else's coverage but mine, go to their coverage, not mine. But if you can't keep track of a conversation, there's no point in having a conversation with you, Matthew. The whole point of talking to somebody is understanding what they're talking about. You don't know what we're talking about, and you come talking about beans when we're talking about bread. That makes you remedial, Matthew. We're not talking about beans. How is this difficult? How? Listen, Crackerjack, you came into someone else's conversation. That's the point. This is our conversation. Everyone in the room was paying attention. You came with something antithetical to the conversation that nobody else was. You're like a third wheel. That's the point, Matthew. Nobody in the room was talking about what you were talking about. Read the room, Matthew. Read the room. If you can read. You don't strike me as the kind of person that knows how to read. 1 fish, 2 fish, maybe, that might be the max. But learn. Learn to read a room before talking. It's pretty simple, man. Don't go into places, one, where you have no idea what the content is, to talk about stuff, and then realize, wait a minute, I was just, but no one was talking about what you're talking about, Matthew. That's the point. No one. But if you can't read a room, now I don't know what to tell you, bro. That's not on us. That's on you. If you don't understand context, then I don't know what to tell you. Nobody was talking about what you're talking about. Nobody. I understand that for many people like you, it's hard to not let go of what you want to talk about when entering someone else's zone. Practice. Like this retard. Like this retard. He doesn't even have a clue about what he believes, but wants to tell everybody else what they should believe. He doesn't believe what he talks about, but wants you to believe what he talks about. This retard. It was the title. It was only saying causing divisiveness. That was all. Let me ask a question. Did it say divisiveness? Did the title say divisiveness? Can you read the word? It starts with D, but does the word say divisive? I'm curious. I'm really curious. I'm so curious right now. Does the title of my video say divisive? Maybe Matthew doesn't understand English. Matthew says, It was the title. It was only saying it is causing divisiveness. That was all. So let me read it for you before I close. Let me read it for this remedial monkey moron here, Matthew. This is what the title actually says, since Matthew can't read. A Great Deception. TPUSA, Candace Owens versus Truth. Description. Aside from the gossip and mess surrounding death of Charlie Kirk, these two enterprises have done some far more dangerous than bicker and speak conspiracy. The whole debacle has brought something darker to the surface. That thing is the replacement of God for other things while calling the name of the Lord. This is dangerous and indeed blasphemous. But this monkey, Matthew, cannot read. And he thinks every word that begins with D is the word divisive. Y'all are slower than snot in winter. You're stupid. You're blatantly, purposefully stupid. Because you read into things what you want it to say, not what it says. The title has nothing to do with divisiveness. You read that into it, and it doesn't even have that word in the description or title. But you saw it in there somehow. Some way, you saw the word divisive in the title and description. You did that because you wanted it to be about divisiveness, because you have your own parroting point to talk about. You're not black-pilled. You're not black-pilled. You need a rubber room and some straitjackets. Dummy, you said the title said. You can't even read your own. You don't even remember what you said. I told you were high. I told you were high. I just showed on the screen what you said. You said the title said that. Did you not? Don't tell me you misspoke. You mistyped. You didn't say the title said divisive? Did you or did you not say the title said divisive? Yes or no? No one cares about your daddy, your great-granddaddy, or none of your family members, bro. Nobody gives a damn about them. Like literally nobody. Nobody cares about what happened to your great-great-granddaddy or your father, your mother. Nobody cares. Nobody cares in here. Nobody. They chose to do what they did. They chose that. We don't care about what happened with them. We don't care. We do not care. We don't need to hear your stupid, sad sob story about how your family passed away and how this daddy got shot and what. We don't care. We really don't care, bro. That just means that your whole family is part of the military-industrial complex, right? You might be PSYOP yourself. Oh, my gosh. But y'all might think this is distracting from the topic. It's not. And I keep telling you all this. It is not distracting. It's enhancing and solidifying it. What did I tell you at the onset this was doing? You give somebody a trap of truth, right? Give them some truth. And then you pile on all kinds of crazy stuff. What do you think these two individuals that we're talking to have had happen to them? What do you think has happened? Exactly that. They are walking proof of how well it works. Walking proof that it works. To the point where you can say what you don't believe, and that's fine. You see what I mean? You don't have to believe it to say it. You just need to say it. Listen, y'all can hate this platform all you want and unsubscribe and all that stuff. I've told people before, I'm not doing this for the subscriptions. I'm not doing it for that at all. Because you said it. You see. Oh my goodness, bro. Ain't no way. Oh, Lord, 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 Lord. Oh. Oh, oh my. Whew. Oh, Lordy. Oh. Oh my. Wow. You know, there are just some things that make you feel good on the inside, that give you a nice warm laugh. That was one of them. That was my Christmas present to me. I appreciate that, man. I appreciate it, man. Look, if it's one thing that Control, your whatever name is, brought to the table, is something to laugh at. And I appreciate that, because in this time of chaos and trouble, we need stuff to laugh at. Bring in the clowns. That song has never been truer. Bring in the clowns. Oh, Lord. Mm-mm-mm-mm. Bring in the clowns. Oh, that's good stuff. So good. So good. So good. Listen, people. I'll leave you with this. And I've said this before, I don't know how many billions of times. As many videos as I've made, I've said it. And right now, I have, let me double check this real quick. Let me see what I have. I have, because I forget how many I have. I have 841 videos on this platform. 841. And I think I've said it 841 times. So I'm going to say it 842 times. You don't have to listen and believe anything I say. And anyone who's been in here can tell me if I have not said that almost every time. Have I not said this over and over and over and over? You don't have to believe anything I say. You don't. In fact, I've also said it'd be best if you'd verify it for yourself. I don't invite people here to convince them. In fact, I've said this before too. I'm not here to convince anyone. You can go back and look through all of them. I'm not here to convince a soul. I'm here presenting my point of view based on the word. And if that is not sufficient, then it's not for you. It's really that simple. But what I see happening with these entities, both Candace and TPUSA, and to be frank, most of the things that call themselves the church, is the allowance of the world to be in the body. Plain and simple. You don't have to believe it. You don't have to like it. None of that. I'm not requiring, begging, asking, none of that. Never have, never will. Never have, never will. Nor will people that think I should approach some things one way, will I ever do it because you wish for me to. That's your opinion, and you have the right to it. But the same way, you saying, I'm judging him, you're judging me for judging him. You see the problem, Angie? You're saying you don't even know him. So again, the judgment spewing out right now is wrong, while judging me for what you say I'm doing. And if you don't like it, Angie, let me help you out too. If for you, this is a problem, there is an unsubscribe button if you've been subscribed, and there is a back button to leave the room. It's not difficult. Maybe you're not tech savvy, so let me help you out. If I'm looking at my phone and you're on your phone, you see like I'm watching a video right now? Down at the bottom, there's a little back arrow, and look what I can do. You see how I left the video, and then I can close it. It's no longer me watching it. You can do that, and you can feel free to leave if this is not something that you like, if it's too judgmental for you. Angie, it's okay. I am not for everybody. But I was never a bully in high school. So I wouldn't know how they behave, except for what they did to me. I was bullied, but I was never a bully. I don't understand how this is difficult. I really don't. And by the way, I can be judgmental. It's allowed. Secondarily, we're not dealing with Buddha here. Buddha is a trash bag. Buddha's an idiot. Buddha didn't know nothing. Buddha ain't real. Buddha is closer to booty than anything else. We don't deal with Buddha here. So I don't even know why you're quoting Buddha. And nobody care about Buddha here. Go talk to some, one of them spiritist channels that deal with Buddha. We don't deal with Buddha here. I just want you to know, we don't give two craps about Buddha. Like at all. Buddha did nothing but sit down and get fat on gluttony and stuff, if that's the person you say you're listening to. Buddha. Next they're gonna come and talk about Muhammad say. All I know is this. Be careful, because there are things happening right now. Things happening right now that are being placed in the lap of God that he didn't put there. There are things being placed in his name that ain't in his name. There are people out there that are trying to tell you that this is Christianity, but it's not. It's completely contrary to the word, which is our blueprint. And if you don't like the blueprint, then don't say that you follow it, because you don't. It's that simple. The book clearly states some things that people don't like. There are certain measuring tools that we're given that people don't want to use. They prefer to feel than to follow. They feel something might be okay, but the word says it is, and they don't care. It really isn't that hard to understand. But if that's not what you want, then hey, that's not what you want. That's okay. You can do it. It really is okay. You know why it's okay? Because you choose it. But don't think because you choose it that we have to. We're not going to. And while these groups might be good for a certain political means, they might be good for a certain level of clout when it comes to money or finances. Sure. But God don't work like that. God don't work like that. He has a very cut and dry method, and if you don't like the cut and dry method, then don't follow him. But don't say it's belonging to him when it's blatantly doesn't belong to him. But you praying to some random dude that died. And you got this bunch of beads that you just rotate and say some prayer to some woman. That's not how this works. And you want this universalistic view of Christianity. It doesn't work like that either. And we're definitely not going to worship some dude with a Dagon hat on his head. We're not doing that. No matter how much the world is trying to push that ideology and try to get you away from Christ, it's not going to work. If you say you follow him, his word is there for you to get all the input you could possibly need. If you don't want the word, then don't say you want him, because that's him. I don't know how else to put it to you. You might want a Temu version or a Sheen version, but you definitely don't want the real one. Okay, good. You said that. Now I want to see if you actually leave. Let's see if you actually leave. I'm going to wait to see if you actually leave. I'm sure he did. When did he have time to do that again? Can you when he had time to do that? At what point in his life before his untimely demise in your book? I guess it would be untimely. Anyway, that's a whole nother kettle of fish. I ain't even gonna bother opening. I'll let Dylan be Dylan. Dylan reminds me of a whole nother thing, but I ain't gonna say what Dylan reminds me of. I think people exactly know who I'm talking about when I say his name. The first person that comes to your mind is another individual that went to a church. Y'all remember him? There's a different Dylan that went to a church. You remember him? What did he do at that church? He did some crazy stuff at a church with some pew-pews. He reminds me of that Dylan. Anyway, I'll be back tomorrow, God willing. Savage will be on today. I just have to figure out what our title is. I thought, hey, whoa. I thought you said you were leaving. You said bye. Why are you still here? Do you not know how to go by your own word? Just stick to your own word and leave. Ain't nobody asking you to stay to define what you said. You said what you said, to leave. Stick to your word. Be a woman of your word and leave. You said bye. Don't walk back through my door after I closed it. Just leave. Do y'all not know how to stand by your word? Is it that difficult for you to do? Golly. You ain't got to lie. Just go. We can't miss you if you won't go away. Stupid people, bro. I'm not even gonna bother with Bill. Bill retard is in the room now. So anyway, we'll catch you guys on tomorrow. And I got something to talk about tomorrow. We'll figure it out. You'll see it. You'll see it. It'll be good. I appreciate y'all. We'll catch y'all then. Wisdom calls to you from the streets. So please, please, please find wisdom. Peace.
Hold tight the dreams, for if dreams die, rely on yourself and know